All right, today we're going to look at the grid method. So this is going to be your grid drawing intro. If you don't have this sheet at home, find an image and do what I'm going to talk about doing on another sheet of paper. Okay. For my students learning this in my class, whether it be at home or in my class, this is how I'm going to make your drawing life 100 times easier. Okay, so we've already learned in my class, we've learned how to draw observationally, and we drew a still life, so different objects grouped together, and we had to draw just from observation. So we went through different skill building activities and making sure that they understand that paying attention to their reference is more important than paying attention to their own drawing, because if you're not paying attention to the reference, you're not going to draw accurately. And it's still that case for the grid, but this helps compartmentalize each individual aspect of the drawing. So what I'm going to go into is a couple different things. One, the actual process of transferring the image, and in this case, like it says right here, half size increase. So this is going from a 1-inch grid, so every square is 1 inch, and then it's going to go to a 1.5-inch grid squares up here. So we're increasing by 1.5 times. Okay, and I'll go into the math and all that stuff and figuring out how to take an image at a particular size and increase it or just duplicate it the same size. I've got two different images that I end up handing out to my students. I'm just going to choose one of them for now and to show the process. But these are the two images that I chose. One's kind of more of a computerized realistic. It's not really realistic, but it's kind of a computerized 3D type image. This is more of a line drawing. I'm just going to do the line drawing for now. And same process with the transfer, just two different images. Okay, so I'm going to take my ruler and I kind of break this down for my students in the class to make it just a little easier for right now, just for the learning process, because in another video, I go over how to create a grid on the paper. They got to make a border first. They got to know how big the border is supposed to be, so on and so forth, and I can go into that. I'll probably do the measurement part in another video, a separate video, but for now, for this case, I've already put the lines on here, and all I have to do, or all of my students will need to do, is lightly, this is what's important, on your grid itself, your image itself, when you print out an image and you put a grid on it, these lines need to be dark. You want those lines to be dark. These lines on here need to be super, super light because these lines have to erase, okay? They have to be erased at some point. I'm using a 3B just so you guys can see a little bit better. But typically it's a 2H or an HB pencil that we would use to make our grid lines, because we want it super light. You got to be careful with a 2H, because a 2H can end up having, it can be really sharp, and you can end up indenting into the paper if you're not careful. So how I recommend holding a pencil is super, super light. See how far back on the pencil I am? Super, super light. I'm not gripping it, and I'm literally just going to rest it up against the ruler and barely drag it across the paper. I'm going to see if you can see this. Yeah, you can see it, but it's super light. If I took an eraser and erased it, any part of this, like this, if I erase it, then it goes away, right? And I don't need to put that back right now because there's nothing really over in that area. So just keeping it nice and light. Make sure you've got both lines, both marks lined up. We have two marks, one on each side, because if we only put a mark on one side, we wouldn't know if we're going, we'd have the right measurement. So that's why there's two marks everywhere. And we just want to get this lined out. Okay. And always with the ruler, I think I talk about this in other videos, especially how to use a ruler, making sure that if you're right-handed, the ruler is being held down by your left hand and your mark is on the right side. If you're right-handed, the mark is on the right side of the ruler. If you're left-handed, the mark is on the left side of the ruler. Simple, right and right. Okay, so now I've got my grid, it's lined out. And now I have exactly, so the whole idea of the grid is we don't have to guess. For the most part, we're kind of guessing a little bit because unless we use a ruler, which using a ruler is always an option. I will show you how to use the ruler to duplicate something to get it in the right spot. But this is going to make sure that you are almost 99% accurate on anything that you want to draw. Okay, so what I want to look at is we go one square at a time. So we check out this square, we check out this square here. So what's in that square? This little tiny line is right down here in the corner. We want to make sure that it's not too close because it looks like it's pretty close down here, but remember this is half times bigger, it's 1.5 times bigger. So it's not going to be as small, it's going to be up a little bit, right? So what I usually recommend doing for my students is you find a spot, you can kind of make like a dot right there, and you can almost create a connect the dot situation before you actually draw any lines. So I'm dotting over here for this part, I've dotted here for this part, and then I've dotted here for this part coming down. And anything on a line, you can put a dot, but we don't want to put dots out here in the middle because we don't know exactly where that belongs. So basically, I need to look at my reference. So I got to do two things. I got to look at my reference and know where I'm drawing. And then I also need to look at my lines to see where they're intersecting, right? So I could sketch this in. Right there, I've got that in. And then this drops down and I've got this, what do you call that? Like a puff ball or whatever, pom-pom. There we go, this pom-pom thing on the end of the hat. And I'm looking here and here. It's kind of taking up both about the same distance on each side. And then how far down is it hanging, right? So if the middle is here, it's just above the middle. If I find my middle here, just above the middle. So I've kind of made that dot for now. And when I know that it's circular, so I can just keep looking at the reference and kind of sketch in a circle. It's up a little higher on this side. I'm not worried about the little fuzzy stuff on it. I'm just trying to get a shape in. That's all I'm really trying to do right now. And then this goes, looks like up a little bit. This is going to come down. Right. Looks like this intersection right here is kind of merging about right there. And it's just barely coming through. Okay. So that's it. I mean, that's all you really have to do is keep going through and figuring out where you're, but you got to keep looking. You can't just look for a while, come over here and think that you're going to have memorized it and put it down. You don't need to. That's what, when we practice some of our skill building, we do 80-20. So 80% of the time you should be looking here, 20% of the time you're looking here. And that's as you're sketching. You don't stop, look for a while, come over here and try to regurgitate what you remembered. You literally, your eyes are over here, your pencil's moving, your eyes are over here, you bounce back and forth, and you keep moving. When you stop, you're kind of resetting your brain, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep your pencil going, but you kind of want to make sure that you're kind of doing it within a block at a time. Don't try to just draw the whole thing. Just because you see an image here doesn't mean you just draw an image here. You're still trying to be accurate, and that's why we break it down into the grid. And you can break it down in smaller grids. I could have made this a 1/2-inch grid, right? And that would have given me a smaller box here, and that I could have been more precise. So I could break it down to a 1/4-inch grid if I wanted to. Depends on how precise I want to be. Now, using the ruler, I will show this method. So using the ruler, so kind of shiny with the light on it, but you can see I've got inches here, centimeters here. I typically recommend using on these rulers, we've got in those 0 to 1, there's more lines than there are in the 1 through 14. And then, in 14 to 15, they've got more lines. So all you have to do to be as absolute accurate as you possibly can, is you're just going to count lines. So I'm not going to use the multiple lines. Right now I'm just going to use the more stretched out lines and try to zoom. Well, I don't want to zoom in. So I'm just going to show you real quick. Let's just see this part right here. So I'm going to measure down on this line to where that hat is, okay? And you don't have to know measurements. You don't have to know 7/8 and 15/16 or anything like that. You just need to know how to count by ones. So I've got my grid on the 1 here, and you can put it on any number you want. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to count lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got roughly 4. That's where that hat is, 4. So if 4 is on the 1, we got a 1.5 times the 4. So to do that, what we do is, what's half of 4? It's 2. And then we add the 4 and the 2 together, we have 6. So 6 is, we need 6 lines over on this side, okay? 6 lines on that side. So I'm gonna put it on, see, I'm putting it on the 2 because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what number, as long as we're on the whole number, and then start counting down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, boom. That's basically right where I was. So that's how that works with a ruler. So my students will have access to an 18-inch ruler throughout the entire project of sketching, not the shading portion, but the sketching portion. And they will be able to count. And I believe on our drawings for their self-portraits, which is what they're going to use this for, they're doing a 1-inch grid on a 5x7 photo, and they're going to be increasing it to a 2-inch grid, and that's going to make a 10x14 image. Okay, so we're increasing it 2 times for their own face, but for this particular project, this intro into the grid, it is going to be just a 1 to 1.5 times. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up and show this at the end, and then go from there. So again, not worried about shading. I'm worried about getting the lines, especially when you have a real image. Okay, so I got my drawing done. Is it perfect? No, but to get the idea of how this works, and again, I didn't use the ruler to make sure I was precise. There are some lines that are slightly out of place, but for the most part, it's where it needs to be, and that's what's most important when we are getting ready. We use this in my class to get ready for our self-portrait. So getting the proportions, getting everything where they belong for your face is what's most important. And then when we start shading, if something seems slightly off, or if we do a measurement after we've done the initial sketch. So I could have this initial sketch with no ruler, and then I could grab my ruler and double check things and then actually make the adjustments. But this is pretty close to where everything needs to be, and I'm not getting super detailed in it. I'm not putting any shading or whatnot. So in my class, if there's time left during this class that you did this, then yes, I do want you going in and adding some detail, shading these in, making as many of the lines as possible. And the nice thing is, and even so, some of you will not listen to me on this, when I say don't just add lines because you see lines, you actually have a guide. There's a line that crosses this line right here, so you could put that line right there. Don't just make up lines because you want to put lines. You have every ability right now to make this as accurate as possible, because you have a map. This is your map. This grid is your map to be almost 100% accurate. So you don't have to just rely on observation. You are using observation, of course, but you can also use the ruler to be precise. So now that you've seen how this works, go ahead and go in and start, get your lines drawn, start figuring out where things are supposed to be, start drawing. As I'm sitting here staring at it, I see that this needs to bend a little bit more right here. And that's the nice thing about drawing lightly. Any of these lines that I want to erase, I can, and they'll go away. There's no reason to draw dark. Also, if we're practicing for our faces, drawing our faces, we definitely don't want to draw dark, because the lines for our face all the lines have to go away. Hands down, they go away. Everything will be shaded on your face. So when we start drawing this on our face, drawing the outline and transferring, we want to make sure that every line is erasable, just in case there's a mistake, or the shading is really light in that area and we don't really want a dark line or anything like that. There's no reason for it. So we got to make sure that everything is light and everything is erasable. Okay? All right, good luck.